I enjoyed the hell out of this movie.
I did too.
I don't know what people were talking about. I really don't.
The people, I mean, I respect.
I do. No, I do.
The reviewers that we watch, we respect because we love them.
Very much.
We usually agree with them.
We really do usually agree with them. I'm a little shocked by
so much this time around.
No, and it's okay. But anyway, yeah, let's get it. What's up, my know-it-alls? Welcome to the one. For once, you're going to see the full set in all its glory, which is. Normally, I'm in a desk that pulls out and it's there, but the idea behind this new set was to be able to have a place where Mrs. Know-it-all and I, or any guests and I, or Baby Know-it-all, whoever, can have an opportunity to sit down and enjoy stuff. And so we just got finished watching Captain America: Brave New World. It's funny, click on the timeline anywhere you want. We're gonna have time codes down in the description, kind of different things we're gonna talk about. But primarily, the thing I wanted to really kind of jump in on is I'm going to have a separate review the way I normally do it. There's going to be a video where I dice up step by step and go into a lot of the other pieces. This is really strictly for me and Mrs. Know-it-all to have a conversation about it and talk about the thing. Are there going to be spoilers? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just
can't talk about it.
Yeah, just be learned. But yeah, so let's. I'm down. Let's dive in. What was your favorite part? No, for real. I dug this.
There was so many of my favorite parts. One thing that I think I mentioned to you as we were walking out of the theater was it felt like a Marvel movie.
Oh, all day. It really did.
A different type of Marvel movie, though. I don't think it was. It's not your Endgame. It's not. It's not even like an Iron Man, because I think we're moving into we're in a different generation of Marvel at this point, especially with fans.
Yeah.
New generation, new people. Baby Know-it-all and them are starting to watch. It's this stuff too, but it felt different. It felt like a Marvel movie, and it felt like I watched a really good, like, not a whodunit. That's not what I want to say.
No, but there was.
But like that.
You had to solve a thing. I mean, so I feel like it definitely had. I saw the connective tissue with like Winter Soldier and those kinds.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I did see it. I thought that the story overall I liked. I know that a lot of people have talked about it being disjointed or whatever. I don't understand that, mainly because the only thing I know, one of the reviews I read was like you could totally see the reshoots and feel the reshoots.
I only noticed it.
I can only feel reshoots once, and that was at the very end when Captain America is confronting Red Hulk Ross and trying to talk him down. Mm-hmm. And it felt, because the lighting is different, it reminded me of in Black Widow when they had to recut that scene with Yelena and she gets blown back in vision, and clearly that was a different scene. So this reminded me of that, in that there was a different, I could tell there was different lighting and everything else. Other than that one moment, I actually was with them the whole time.
See, and I thought there was a different type. You said it was when he became Red Hulk. Mm-hmm. I thought I noticed a difference when they were actually on the raft.
Okay.
I feel like when Betty came to talk.
Yeah.
Betty's
sure.
Betty's schedule of Tyler might not have fit when Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford could do it, or somebody. You know what I mean? Like, so I could see where there would be.
No, and I can definitely, you can tell those moments. So it's funny. That's the difference between something that feels like it was a cut in or a pickup versus, or reshoot, versus something that actually feels like it was shot quickly toward the, like, and was like, we got to get this thing in here. We got to insert this bit, and we don't have time to do everything. Because they probably had planned, hey, we're gonna do all of our on location type stuff or soundstage stuff.
Sure.
And then we're gonna have these smaller sets like the Raft Prison and other places like that we'll then use and go to be able. Like, I feel like that scene with the leader and Sam and the new Falcon in his bunker, that could have easily been had pickups and cuts and things like that in it. Did I feel like there were some places where they over-explained? Maybe. But overall, I didn't have a problem with it.
I think that goes back to, like I said, it goes back to maybe it's a new generation.
Sure.
Because we talked about, or you had stated that the Marvel, people had a hard time with Marvel because thinking that they had to watch it.
Right.
So they had to watch.
In the
And
early-
I don't feel like, I'm glad they did a couple of the rehashes that they did.
In early days, the one big thing, the big plus about the MCU was always that you could jump in. Anybody who off the street could jump in, watch any movie you wanted. You could watch Captain America: First Avenger. You could watch Iron Man. You could watch just any of them and not have to have seen the others to get the gist.
Right.
Then you shifted into Phase 4, which had a lot of the TV stuff because, again, pandemic and everything else. And those felt more and more like you had to do the homework because they depended on the movies. And then later on, other series depended on those and other movies depended on those. And it's just a whole thing. This, yes, there were a few places where it was like, well, I mean, especially after that one time that we did that one thing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, there was a couple of, there were, but
I felt like that's how they used to do it.
Yeah.
You used to have that so that you didn't have to worry too much about people having heads. And I think like if that's where they're moving, good. I'm glad. Oh, we saw it in 3D,
We did see it in 3D.
which I thought was fine. Wasn't distracting.
It was not.
The flying in 3D looked amazing.
It really did.
Right. I definitely recommend people see it in 3D if you get an opportunity. It looks.
Yeah. And we forgot that we were seeing it.
We totally did. Well, because we went
And the ticket person didn't tell us.
exactly. We went to an AMC, and the AMC ticket guy was like, "Hey, what's going on during the movie?" And so you said I ran out because we were closer to the front, and I guess right behind me
Was the rest of the theater. This guy did not hand any glasses out to anybody.
That's right.
And again, we forgot we put it in.
No, that's real. Okay, we did. In fact, we forgot it was today because we actually.
Oh my gosh, we thought it was tomorrow.
Right, we signed up for the fan events on the 13th, which is today. The actual quote unquote release day is tomorrow.
Right.
And but anyway, either way, it was. I again really enjoyed it. I thought, what are some interesting things, bro? I don't know what anybody's saying. The first time someone just capped him,
Was right there.
it made. I was
He was
like,
at the bar.
I was like, oh,
At the heart.
here you go, Cap. And I was like, oh,
And it's on the house.
totally. I was like, okay. And then you see him in the first mission, and the SEAL team is with him, right there with him, and everybody's like, I'm like, this is Captain America.
What I thought was weird is I felt like one of the reviewers was saying there wasn't a lot of Captain America. Sam he wasn't doing Captain America thingies. I felt like they said that. And I was like, no, maybe I can see where they thought it. But then the more I'm watching, I'm like, we got to see him fighting in the beginning, in the middle, and the end.
Bro.
I'm trying to figure out.
And so a couple of reviewers were talking like, the fight scenes and that. The action scenes were amazing. Everything looked good. He clearly took the time. Anthony Mackie took the time to really get into the physicality of the role. The writers have written Sam, so he obviously, and we got to see some of that, and not that you had to, but we got to see some of that in Falcon and Winter Soldier when he was first practicing with the
And how to like
with the
deal
frisbee. I was gonna say with the frisbee.
with the shield.
Yeah, and that I thought
Man, he has really nailed that whole thing.
it was nice. It was so nice, especially because they really took everything that made Sam unique and they leaned into it. They leaned into it heavy. I love the fact that aside from the one moment that, and we'll get into that in a second, he was and is Captain America.
I believe that 100%. There is no doubt in my
loved
mind.
it.
No doubt in my mind.
We'll keep talking more about Sam, but let's talk about Harrison Ford.
How he acts. He's played presidents before, okay? And he plays a really good president. And let me just tell you, he did not cheapen this role at all because it was Marvel. He acted his butt off.
Very.
Like, I felt pain when he was talking about his daughter. Like, my heart was just bleeding for him.
I don't know what anybody's talking about. I felt like we were watching old school Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford from any number of the
Like
political ones. We're talking like the fugitive Harrison Ford, or the Concerning Here, or and all these like these movies where he's brought gravitas and brought this really just his acting capability. And here he is doing a comic book movie, having fun with all the kids, and doing wonderful.
Just doing amazing.
I love everything from the nuances that he brings to the moments when he's talking deep. Whenever he's talking, you brought it up. Whenever he's talking about Betty, you feel that pain. And you're like, wow, bro. And that's what happens when you get a good seasoned actor like Harrison Ford, who's not afraid to be that vulnerable and be that guy.
Right.
You know, and like I love when he's talking to, and it was in the trailers. I love when he's talking to Sam about in the very, very beginning, and he goes, I want to talk to you about restarting up the Avengers. And Sam says, what about if there's something we don't agree about or some way we don't agree? He goes,
figure it out together.
and I just loved that very nonchalant, but also like, dude, I know, bro. Like you felt him.
Figure it out.
And then when all hell breaks loose, and we'll talk about Isaiah and all those pieces, with the way Harrison Ford talks to him in the bunker. Mind you, this is a president who's just barely missed almost being killed.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, and Sam's being Captain America. Let's do this.
Anything,
And he says, he's like, you shouldn't be even in this position. You're not Steve Rogers. And I was like,
I wanted to punch you in the face. Like, why would you say something like that?
Well, and that's the scene. And then he doesn't say no, I'm not.
You're right. I'm not.
Yes, you're correct.
He didn't say that. Like he says in the trailers.
You're right.
And I thought that was a missed opportunity. Having him get shut up by Ross, I believe was a bad choice. Editing wise and the story wise, I think it was a bad choice. Now I understand why you probably do it.
Because it's the president and it's Sam.
But not just that, but you probably do it because we want to bait that moment later when he's talking to the cameo. And we'll get into the cameo too.
You don't want to talk about the cameo now?
Well, we can't about I want to talk about Lost.
Okay.
But no, because I really think Harrison Ford, but when he's having that moment, I feel like you want to set up that moment later. That brief moment of
perfectly.
I hope so.
And with that being, let's finish talking about Ross.
No, and then to find out that even though he's so clearly trying to do better, be better, he still has that shady stuff in the background. Mm-hmm. He's the one who dealt with what's his face, Samuel, whatever, the guy, the leader. That's the comic book name, the guy with the green head. Which, by the way, this whole thing felt very much like it kept calling back to the Incredible Hulk. This was like the Incredible Hulk's, the movie, The Incredible Hulk.
Right.
This was like echoes of that. You have Liv Tyler, you have the leader, who's that same actor. You have the scenes they actually show
that they showed an Abomination,
and they didn't update Hulk.
I was just getting ready to say something about that because we know that the Abomination came from when
Norton, right?
When he was
the Incredible Hulk movie.
Incredible Hulk, yeah.
And he looked identical on She-Hulk.
I love that they did that.
They didn't update him in this. When they showed the scenes of him fighting in Harlem, it was the Edward Norton Hulk, and I thought that was good. I just, rather than try to pretend,
rewrite history.
Yeah, just making like it is what it is, because that movie is part of the MCU.
Yeah.
I think right around the same time that first Iron Man came out, a little after actually. It very much echoes those things. I thought it was, again, coming back to that. So then you find out that the fact that he still has all that dirt in his past, and the leader is a result of that, because what did he do? He dangled the carrot and told the leader, I'll let you out. You go back to your life. Just help me become the president. And it's because somewhere deep down inside, he wants to try to manipulate history so his daughter will love him again and see he's changed. But it's like, have you, dude? How much change?
You also just turned into a big red bully, which, by the way, I thought looked pretty good.
Yeah, and then I think I felt like, so the overall story, I felt when it comes to Ross, I felt like they gave us a hair too much information every time they gave us information. So it felt like they were almost like over-explaining to us. It wasn't tell, don't show. I feel like they showed us a lot. But I felt like, okay, guys, you're dropping, they telegraphed things. And I was like, okay. So like I had a feeling, aside from, of course, we saw, now I think the trailers would have been better served to not reveal that it was Ross who was the Hulk. Because
Oh yeah.
the trailers and the posters and everything set up that Red Hulk is a major part of the story. And frankly, he is a part of the story, but he's not. The other thing is the movie had, especially where Ross is concerned, it had essentially 2, maybe 3 endings where you felt like you reached the end of this is going to, and then more happens and more happens. I don't think they went too long. I didn't feel.
No, I was our program started at 2 and we left the theater at 4:30.
Yeah.
So we had a half hour worth. It wasn't a long movie either. I don't think it was. It was, but and even if it was, I was very engaged. So
yeah. But overall, and of course, the way it ends, Ross obviously becomes Red Hulk, and you find out that was all part of the leader having poisoned him. So the only reason he was giving the leader any leeway was because he wanted help with his own heart as well. It wasn't just the president.
they ended up giving him gamma instead.
And dude poisoned him and made him the Red Hulk and that whole thing. And then he's got all these moments where he's trying to hold it back. And finally, at the end, he can't, and it goes off, and he destroys the White House.
Which I was like, whoa! I didn't expect that, which I thought was pretty. And then the Washington Monument when he's swinging.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
I say swinging. He was not swinging.
No, he's doing his Hulk does.
Superhero leaps.
Superhero leaps. I love that.
I liked when he realized what he did. He knew something was going on with him with that scene when he finally does turn, and when he turns around and sees his reflection,
bro.
Because I'm sure everything, like with his daughter, with anything that he thought, and with that whole anger and stress and stuff like that, is going to be, that's it. It's over. She's never going to love me again. And I'm sure that,
And then, of course, you get the end where finally he brings them back together, where Cap goes to see Ross, and he brings with him Liv Tyler, his daughter Betty.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good use. We heard her on the phone earlier, but then to see, I think it was a good use of that cameo.
Yeah.
It really was. But yeah, I enjoyed his storyline. Harrison Ford, bro.
He really did an amazing job, I think. I think he did a really good job.
It's funny. There's so many times a lot of these older actors, sometimes you feel like they're phoning it in.
He did not phone this in.
No,
he put as much energy into this as he would of any other movie.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
He really did. Let's talk about the fun cameos, the cameo they had. We get Bucky.
I was so excited.
Soon to be Congressman Bucky.
Congressman Bucky.
I love the fact that the former
widow.
She's like this. She was Israeli, but she was trained in the Red Room. And obviously, so the character in the comics is actually former Mossad and has very deep from that side. Because of all the things happening geopolitically in the world today, they leaned away from that. They didn't change her, which I thought was good. Because I feel like, dude, why are you going to change something from the comics just because of this? Especially when you've got the proto Cap who's black.
Yeah.
You've got all these pieces that are very, very culturally relevant. And why would you at the very least, now they didn't make her a former Mossad, they made her a former Red Room widow. She was cool.
That was awesome.
I thought she was, because like after Natasha, we got Yelena, of course, and obviously we saw the other junior whatever. The junior ones. The training girls, the baby widows. And then you get to see Root. Oh, she's so good. Especially because I love the fact that she's
We're
not.
going to see her again.
I hope so.
She's a widow, and I think we'll end up seeing. So. She's got a thing for Bucky, so that was adorable. She's like this big, and he's like.
Dude's like he's 110 years old, and she's like, I can work with that. I do love the fact that widows clearly have a sense of humor.
Oh, they do.
As well.
Oh, they do. I think they do. Wait, let's go back to when you said the conversation that he did have with Bucky.
Yeah.
Because, and what I liked about this, going back to what we said about you don't have to watch
Sure.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's right.
For this line to make sense, because the line makes sense whether you saw it or not.
Exactly.
And Sam always deals with the fact that he thinks that
he has imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that what's his name chose the wrong person.
Steve, thank you. Yeah, and dude's like, he didn't. And I love the next line that Bucky says. He says to him, Steve didn't pick you because you were the strongest. He picked you because he knew you will never quit.
Right.
You will keep fighting. Steve was someone people could look up to. You are someone people can aspire to.
Beautiful line. Beautiful line.
That hit me so hard. I was like, oh.
And I love the way we got to see the way we can now assume that Bucky and Sam kept in touch after Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because Congressman Bucky, as he's walking out, goes, "Love you, bro."
I know. I'm like, that's his boy. That's
his boy.
That's like my best friend. That's what my guys won't love you, bro. Done. And move on. And like the minute you said that, I was like, oh, they're bros.
Yeah.
That's awesome. He's good.
So I thought that was a really cool cameo.
I kind of I was wondering how much they were going to set up Thunderbolts rather with Bucky.
They didn't.
Because I know, but because
That's what I'm saying. Is like they didn't.
because I was almost half expecting an end credit scene with what's her name,
Valentina.
Yeah, Valentina. Yeah, and I was like, just something being like, "Well, I have a problem. I need you to help me with," or something. Because obviously we know he's the one from the show.
Well, that goes to Thunderbolt, which
I'm excited for too,
I want to talk about Falcon.
bro. Dude,
I love this Falcon. He's awesome.
fun. And we got to meet him. We got to meet him in the series.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a wingman then. And to see him kind of start in the beginning mission, the other thing I loved about this first mission, especially with him in it, is that it mirrored Cap's first mission in Winter Soldier. Meaning they were going somewhere, they had to do a thing, whatever. And this time he's got this man in the chair. He has a decorated officer, and he's got dude, and they're all sitting there going, "You gotta do this, gotta do that." And Captain America's being Captain America. He's the one leading the mission, leading the charge. I love the fact that Red Wing has become his little
Yeah,
dude.
it's like his little dude.
I'm like, oh, Tony built these. This is all stuff.
That's totally like
100%.
come through the fence.
100%. Oh, it was good. And then
And they introduced one thing I thought was pretty cool, because it was when they started talking about like what this big thing was. Well, we found out there's a big old Titan coming out of the ocean.
sure, that's from Eternals.
Yeah, that's from the Eternal. It is. I don't think we forgot about it.
They
It's just-
discovered adamantium.
that's where I was going. Yes, and I thought that was awesome, because we're gonna be getting X-Men.
Absolutely, it paves the way. Well, the funny thing is, adamantium. If you've watched, you've listened to me watch Comics Explained. Rob,
Yeah, sure.
he's always talked about how really adamantium and those things and all these aspects come from, they're a derivative of this program, the Weapons Plus program, which is what right after Captain America, or I'm sorry, Weapons Plus is what gave us Isaiah, which eventually gave us Cap, which eventually gave us, which gave us each of these pieces that eventually lead to Wolverine, who they call Weapon X, but really he's Weapon 10, and all these other further ones that happened. And so it's I feel like, now that adamantium has arrived, however they got it there, I feel like we're in a really interesting place to see sort of where
Because now I think your moviegoers know what and is.
that for real. No, for sure. Definitely know what blah, blah, blah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
My mouth doesn't want to work right now. You're getting any conversation.
No, for real. Both of us. I'm just like, but anyway.
I want to talk about Isaiah because Isaiah's character.
Carl Lumley, they brought him back.
I mean, a lot of heartbreaking for me in this movie.
He definitely comes from the Falcon Winter Soldier series.
Yeah.
But he's such an interesting character. He's proto Captain America. He's one of the first before Steve Rogers. There was this guy Isaiah, and he actually went on missions and the whole bit. And they had experimented with other guys.
We got to see where he was.
Yeah. Camp Echo.
Camp Echo, yeah.
Very interesting backstory with all of that. He's such an interesting character because he's like, look, I'm accepting. I like the conversation him and Sam have.
Oh, absolutely.
In the very beginning when him and Sam are talking, and he's like, I still have trouble with you being, with Captain America being in the belly of the beast, talking about the president.
Yeah, we're working for the president.
Who's Ross. And so he's like, well, I mean, he's like, yeah, but I got to believe there's hope. Captain America was very Captain America in all of this. Golly, there's so many people who want to hate on for no reason. This was, I don't know what people's problems are. I don't know what the critics' problems were. I don't know what they were expecting. I thought it was excellent.
I think people are expecting in an Endgame those kinds that we're not going to get for a while again.
Yeah.
How do you get only because we don't have the technology, and there might be new technology.
Sure.
That could happen. I'm totally speculating all this, but we just started this MCU part now, the new part of the MCU. And we can't expect as moviegoers to have the all that we had in an Endgame.
And I feel like that's the problem is that
Infinity War.
I feel like the comic book genre kept growing and growing and building and building. You had the Snyderverse and everything, and it's spectacle-driven style of movies in the early MCU with all these, and then the big things. And like, for instance, well, I told you, I said in the car, Blue Beetle was good.
I liked Blue
The problem was Blue Beetle, based on everything else, was average. It was good. It was an excellent superhero movie. However, when you stack it up next to everything else, it didn't go fast further. I feel like everybody was putting way too much weight on this movie needing to be something bigger. I thought the movie was exactly what it needed.
Where it needed to be. And like I said earlier when we first started, I watched a Marvel movie, definitely watched a Marvel movie. I watched a different Marvel movie though, which I liked. Yeah. And I appreciated the writing. I thought was good. And I'm not a writer. But my husband.
They put so much genuine story into all of this. And Sam follows the breadcrumbs and he's figuring things out. This whole thing, again, I thought this was an excellent movie. This was, for me, way better than some of the fare we've been getting from Marvel.
Yes.
In terms of the movies.
Yes.
I mean, way better. And I feel like I think this is the opening. I think we're opening further. I think things are going in a much further pace forward that I'm ready to. That's salty. I guarantee you, he just got out of the movie. And don't forget on Nerd Fights on Saturday, we are absolutely going to be talking the heck out of
I might pop in for this.
I would love that.
I might pop in for Nerd Fights
That would be
just
so
for that
cool.
part because y'all are crazy on that shit. I can't do it with them.
No, I hear you. Is there anything else you think we might have missed?
No, I just think it was a really good movie. All the actors acted like they're supposed to. I mean, I love the part. I love the whole mind control and I loved all of it. Like there wasn't anything that. And there's one thing, and you know this about.
The leader was not a fighter. He was very.
Yes.
I love the fact that So the leader has always been depicted in the comics as being a big brain, literally.
Yeah.
And very much he can plan and think and whatever else. This went almost to like predictive psychohistory type stuff, where he's like based on all the numbers and the algorithms, guess this and that.
And the one thing that, and I hate this about movies. Like I hate movies where nobody listens to the other person that's right. Like I can't stand that. Like. If it's a 2-hour movie, an hour and a half of that movie is literally someone trying to be convinced. And I can't stand that. It didn't take long for somebody to be convinced. Like I was really worried that when the security, Ruth, when she and Sam, because Sam knows better, when they were going kind of back and forth about it wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a good thing. It wasn't like they're not agreeing on this. And I know I totally stuttered over all that.
You're good.
But basically, he didn't believe her, she didn't believe him, and she had to find it out for herself. And it was quick. And I hate that about movies, where it just takes so long. I'll stop watching a movie.
Agreed.
With that. So I have no complaints at all. No.
Yeah.
The only complaint I have is the post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post-credit scene. There is a post-credit scene.
After all the credits.
I won't spoil it here because it's gonna annoy you. But I guess they kind of have to start seeding the path toward eventually superstores.
Well, yeah. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, we'll see.
I hope I like that.
I think you will. If you've liked everything else the Russos have done,
Yeah, that's true.
No, they're going to do great. I believe. So, but anyways, all right. So there you go. Now you know. If noise half the battle, you're happy we can know it all yourself. What is the Know-It-All Index for us?
I kind of changed a little bit.
Okay, hit me.
I was going to give it a 9. But I think you're right. After us talking a little more, I think it's an 8.5.
Fair enough.
8.5.
8.5. Comment below. Let us know what you thought. Also, what do you think of the set? We're so excited to be doing this, kind of chilling, more comfortable vibes.
Yeah.
You know, get an opportunity to just kind of sit down and talk and chill with you guys.
Fresh refreshment.
For real. In the Know-It-All cave or whatever. I don't know what you're call it. I don't know.
I like it.
I don't know.
It's awesome. I did a lot of this work, by the way.
So
I picked a lot of this stuff out.
So much.
He's the one who put it all together. I love you. Sorry.
No, you're good. We'll talk to you again. Do me a big favor. Comment below again. Let me know what you guys think of the movie when you see it. Other thing is, go see it if you haven't. I don't know why you watch this review anyway, because I spoiled it already, but I'm telling you, go see the movie. I think you're going to enjoy it. Have your own opinions about it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Your mileage may vary, but come to your own decision, wherever that is. All right, guys. I'll talk to you again very soon. Never forget.
Everyone loves a know-it-all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.